Henry Siraki Dixon, Bayelsa West. Mr. President, I rise to lend my voice to the sentiments and comments expressed just now on this very critical issue by the Deputy Senate President.
By Ecowas.
But on conveying the views and commendation of the Ecowas Parliament as he has done. But, Mr. President, without prejudice to that, I have thought that with the communication of Mr. President, which has been read this morning, that we will discuss the validity and the appropriateness and add value to it. Because the whole essence is for that communication to be debated, for it to enjoy legitimacy, so that everyone in this country will know, and even outside will know. So now what I'm saying is that...
Sorry, you are wrong.
Sorry?
The communication is for the Senate to give consent, for the President to act in line with the Constitution, not to debate.
Mr. President.
So the communication, whether you debate...
We are saying the same thing. Can you listen also?
No. You have to get, whether you debate or not, you still come to the question, will the Senate give Mr. President consent as requested? Those in support. And the Senate has done that with unanimity.
Mr. President, we are not debating that again.
No, you can't. You can't even debate.
We are not debating that again.
We have closed that issue.
What I'm saying is...
We have given the President consent.
And
the Senate, all the senators here that you see...
He's concurring with the...
I'm coming. All the senators here that gave consent are aware of the content of that letter. They would not have given consent if they were not in agreement with the President's request. So to go open it for debate, that is not what we are here for. In a point of order, Senator Shumole.
So allow me to finish my remarks today. And as you rightly observed, what I was saying is not far off from the motion.
Exactly.
I was saying that by Section 5, that the President has done the right thing by exercising his constitutional powers to respond to an emergency, and in compliance with Section 5.5, because the first one, he does it in consultation with the National Defense Council. Thereafter, he communicates to the National Assembly. And I was saying that the President had done the right thing, but that we all must be united in supporting when right steps are being taken in the national interest. There are three broad issues that we should all be united about. National security and defense, number one. No politics. No partisanship, if I may add. On the national economy, we must all work together. Because it is like rain, it will fall on everybody. And the third one, which is on this, is on defense of democratic principles. Because we are all products of the democracy. We have signed on to the democracy protocol, and as the leading nation in Africa, not to talk of West Africa, where democratic regimes are collapsing around us, we must be very worried. And which is why I rose to say that the President haven't acted in compliance with the constitutional powers given to him, deserves to be supported and encouraged and commended.
That's it.
But I want to also add another rider, Mr. President and my dear colleagues. Because democratic governments are collapsing around us fast in West Africa, we must call on all elected leaders within the sub-region and in Africa generally to rise up to promote democracy within their nations and stop undemocratic practices that have alienated their populace and allowing the governments not to enjoy legitimacy and popular support. This is not about Nigeria or any one nation. It could be true about all nations, whether you are talking of Guinea, Bissau, or Mali, or Burkina Faso, all around us, and now just by our next door neighbor, Benin Republic. The president did the right thing by deploying national security assets to protect the democratic regime. But that's not enough, Mr. President. We have to call on the president to rally around the leaders of the West African sub-region to stem the tide and also endeavor, do their best to run constitutional, popular, democratic governments in accordance with the constitutions and the laws. Thank you very much.
If you listen to Senator Dixon, you will see that his speech made a lot of sense. And I need to also further explain to you that while sitting here, I have a bird's eye view of every single senator. So if there was an indication that there was any dissenting view, I would have opened the issue up for the discussion and debate. But every person was in agreement. We were all in what you call in law, in consensus ad idem. We were all in agreement. That was why we knew that the president was in order and that he acted in the best interest of not just Benin Republic, but in the best interest of Nigeria first. Benin Republic is too close. And insecurity in Benin Republic will affect Nigeria adversely. So you did, that was the reason why I put the question and there was unanimous consent. But when the Deputy Senate President informed me that there was a message from Ecowas Parliament, who are meeting even at the moment, that they should bring the message here that in looking at any request from Mr. President, the Ecowas Parliament would like to commend the President for acting not just in the constitutionally, but also swiftly to save democracy. You have also pointed out that the President should go further to invite his colleagues in West Africa to a meeting where they will discuss democratic ethos and good governance to ensure freedom of speech, freedom of movement, and avoid undemocratic actions in their states. And for this, I also commend you. And I assure you that Mr. President will get the message. Leader of the Senate.
John, help me. Order 72. Page. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mr. President, sir, with your permission, I read.
Please proceed.
Any senator may challenge the opinion of the president or the chairman by claiming a division. No, I think I'm reading the wrong one. I think, Mr. President, we unanimously commended the action. And you put the question to the vote. And there was no one voice of nay. It was all, the ayes had it. And it was unanimous, including Senator Dixon. Once it is closed, Mr. President, you cannot reopen it. It is sealed in concrete. Our endorsement of the action is total. It is not open to further conversation. So I commend President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for acting properly in good faith and in the national interest. It could have been dangerous to have an unelected group in our borders near Lagos. That is where patriotism comes in. And we have voted in unison across the north, south, east, west to endorse the action. I commend the president. He has acted well, and I commend your leadership. I think this is your birthday gift because you wouldn't have been able to celebrate birthday if by today we have an unelected group by our neighbor here.
Yes,
so we commend the prayer for what he has done. The Senate has endorsed it, and in my view, it is sealed in concrete. It cannot be reopened. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. But from what you are please go back to Order 72. You notice that both Senator Dixon and Senator Oshimole are on the same page.
Exactly.
The reality is that it was Senator Barao that said that let him come under what does not exist, under Section 1B, to convey the commendation of Mr. President by Ecowas Parliament. And I use that opportunity, that window, to say if any other senator wishes to commend Mr. President for acting swiftly, that a person can do so. And in reality, Senator Dixon was on the path of saying, yes, the president acted well, but he was of the opinion that we didn't need Section 1B, that from beginning we should have debated. So that's why I told him, I said, the debate would have arisen where there was a dissenting voice, but there was unanimity, and so there was no need for debate. So, Senator Dixon, I think this time around, I have to bend backwards and give you the opportunity to finish your speech. Just to correct that there was no need for debate when there is total consent. You will only debate when you have divergent views. Do you? Do you need to talk?
Mr. Senate President.
No, your mic.
Mr. Senate President, my distinguished colleagues, actually, peace is not the opposite of war, and war is not the opposite of peace. I will want to commend Mr. President of Nigeria, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, for quick intervention. But may I remind you, Mr. Senate President, with due respect, that there is nothing really too surprising about this military action, because, for example, the United States has taken military action in 251 countries since 1991. 251 times.
How many?
251 military intervention since 1991. United States of America have launched military action in various countries 261 times since 1991. If you take the history backwards, since 1798, they have launched in 469 times of military action. So, Nigeria is the giant of Africa, super leader. And President Tinubu will not compromise Nigeria's integrity in leading the geocentric politics, particularly in West Africa. So it called to bear that taking the example of the hegemonic leader of the world, that's the United States, coming back to the hegemonic leader of West Africa, which is Nigeria, if they have intervened since 1991 to the present day, 261 times military actions in various countries and 486 times since 1759, then what are we talking about? So our president, we must commend him, and I must join my colleagues in also celebrating your proactive leadership of quickly moving, calling for that question about if everybody here is in tendium with Mr. President action, which again, like you already said, no single dissenting voice, because whatever affairs in the Republic is an extension of Nigeria. These are small sovereign states, and they need to enjoy democracy. A liberal democracy is very, very important. So I submit that United States of America, being the hegemonic leader of the world, having intervened in 269 times military actions in various countries, is in tandem with what President Ahmed Bola Tinubu have actually done in time of the Republic. And I do hope that you will take cognizance of the fact that I said that peace is not the opposite of war, and war is not the opposite of peace. So I think this action is quite commendable, and I thank my distinguished colleagues for their support and their commendation to Mr. President, including what you have said. I think it's a joyful day for you today. It's your birthday, a celebration of liberal democracy, liberal praxis and taxonomy that we find in you, the praxis of liberalism, which is collaboration and cooperation, a distillment order, peace, and unity to this country. And lastly, let me also say, in the occasion of your birthday, that you share the same thing with President Tinubu. President Tinubu is a liberalist who believes in cooperation and collaboration to have harmonious peace in the geocentric politics of West Africa. So once again, I wish you happy birthday and many happy returns of peace to you and your family. But peace is not the opposite of war. Thank you.
You can see the kind of personalities that we have as ambassadors designates. Distinguished ambassador designates, distinguished Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, PhD warfare. You have just added that peace is not the opposite of war, and war is not the opposite of peace. So I believe strongly that the president's action has forestalled the death of many Nigerians, as would have happened in Liberia. In the past, Nigeria went into Liberia when it was late, and that was why a lot of Nigerian soldiers were murdered. But we succeeded with the collaboration of the international community to bring peace to Liberia, and Liberia was not fractured. I think the same thing happened in Sierra Leone and a few other countries. So we are very happy with the role that Nigeria continues to play, not just in West Africa, but in the rest of the world. Even in Angola, it was Nigeria that was able to work with the international community and brought about the independence of Angola. And if you go there, that's why the plate number of Nigeria is 002, which should actually have been 001. But we said because of how close they are to the Democratic Republic of Congo, they had to give them 001, and then they gave Nigeria 002. And we have continued to play that role in many other countries. In South Africa, we didn't have troops on ground, but we supported the end of apartheid with everything, including contributions from even school children, NYSC, secondary school, almost everybody, civil servants in Nigeria on a monthly basis. We brought a lot of South Africans to Nigeria, and then they got their education here. When I was in Federal Government College, I had many of them in Port Harcourt and other Federal Government colleges. We provided all we could to support our brothers and sisters in the rest of Africa. So the role of the president is, again, in tandem with what past leaders of Nigeria had always done. But the swiftness of this action is what made the Nigerian Senate to give its consent without a single dissenting voice, and under 1 hour. Because if it wasn't swift, we would have waited until it led to bloodshed. Here, there was no single bloodshed, so we commend Mr. President very seriously. Let me end with the Chief Whip of the Senate, if he has anything to say. But if you don't have anything, then...
Order 1B. Let me use your voice. It's on there because this is torn.
Senator Sugwa, I thought you just came. Okay, so, point of order.
Order 1B.
Okay.
Order 1B, yes.
Mr. President, I read with your permission.
Please proceed.
The proceedings in the Senate, in all committees of the Senate, shall be conducted in accordance with the following standing orders. In all cases not provided for in this standing order or by sessional or other orders or practice of the Senate shall by resolution regulate its procedure.
Yeah.
Mr. President, you just approved the intervention of Mr. President in the failed coup d'etat in the Republic of Benin. And I felt at that time that being the first Deputy Speaker of Ecowas Parliament, in fact, we spoke with the Speaker of the Ecowas Parliament that I should extend the appreciation of the entire Ecowas Parliament to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria through this August Senate of the fact that the President stood for democracy, that Nigeria stood for democracy by acceding to the request of the President of Federal Republic of Benin to intervene to stop that coup d'etat. And I wanted to participate, to make that remark, but I couldn't do so. So I am coming under this order to be allowed to convey that message to this August Senate. If I may be allowed by Mr. President, I can go ahead.
Is it the view of the Senate that he be allowed to convey his message from ECOWAS Parliament in respect of the presidential intervention? Those in support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. DSB, you are very lucky. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I appreciate the understanding of my colleagues in respect of this matter. Mr. President, we woke up to hear in the news that some soldiers were staging a coup d'etat in the Republic of Benin, just our neighbor here. And the president of Benin Republic sent a request to our president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that his country needed intervention of the Nigerian military to stop that coup d'etat. We're not in session. We're not sitting then. Based on the provision of our constitution, as the matter was urgent, the president intervened using our military to stop that ugly situation, to save democracy in the Republic of Benin. That was a wonderful gesture. And to God be the glory. That coup d'etat was stalled. And now, constitutional order, democracy is now restored fully in the Republic of Benin. So the ECOWAS Parliament asked me to convey the message of the ECOWAS Parliament to the President through this August Senate. That what the President did was the highest thing any country could do to save democracy anywhere in the world. That ECOWAS Parliament, indeed the entire West Africa, appreciates what Nigeria did. That they are proud of Nigeria. That democracy is the best form of government. Best form of government. It comes with its own flaws. Nobody says anything is perfect in this world. Nobody says everything is perfect. But if there are mistakes committed by any government, the only way to change such government is through the ballot box. It's through the ballot box, but not through military coup d'etat. So what the president did has shown that the president is a full Democrat, is a reliable leader, a leader who can stand not to only solve our problem, but the problem of our brothers in the West African sub-region. He has shown leadership, and we also stand by him. The ECOWAS is proud of him. The ECOWAS Parliament is proud of what he has done, and we appreciate what he has done. So it's on this note that I want to call my colleagues to also appreciate what Mr. President has done, and we are really proud of him, and we support him and we stand by him at all times. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, have been made, and we are all united on this. The only thing that is just left for me to do is to draw the line of demarcation between the provisions of subsection 4 and subsection 5 of Section 5 of our Constitution, so that even members of public will not mix this up. Under Section 4 sub 4, the president would have had, under Section 5,
Mike, somebody's
under Section 5,
somebody's after you today.
I don't know, sir. Under Section 5, subsection 4, the president would have had to seek the approval of the National Assembly. And that would have required a joint sitting of the two chambers. And then would have had to discuss the validity or otherwise of the president's request for our approval to go into war in any other place outside of Nigeria. However, subsection 5 of that same section 5 says, in the event of an urgent threat or imminent fear of our national security or threat to our national security, the president, working with the Defense Council, can deploy our troops for limited military operation, as was done in Benin Republic. And that, having done that, the president would have to, within 7 days, seek the consent of the Senate. Now, not of the National Assembly, of the Senate. And that the Senate will have 14 days within which to grant such requests by consenting to what the president did. And today, what we have done was to respond in compliance with the provision of Section 5 sub 5, because the president requested for our consent on what was done in Benin Republic. I just want to thank all our colleagues for speedily, giving their consent, for not even waiting for 14 days to do this, because this is in tandem with the thinking of well-meaning Nigerians that democracy should not be endangered, in Africa and in West Africa specifically. So I just want to thank you. And with that, Mr. President, may I also join in commending, Mr. President. And if I have your permission, I would like to move to the first order of the day.
If you can just give one more senator the opportunity to also say something. I do know that
has been said by the previous speakers, but since you have recognized me to speak even without raising my hand, I think it is only gentlemanly for me to contribute my widow's mite towards this commendation. Well, Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. I equally align with my colleagues in commending Mr. President for acting swiftly, arising to the occasion by the deployment of Nigerian forces in order to restore democracy. And this parliament, as a repository of the democratic will of the Nigerian people, will always jealously guard and protect the institutions of democracy, the principle of democracy, wherever it is sought to be violated, wherever it is sought to be, wherever it is in jeopardy. So I equally commend Mr. President for acting swiftly to forestall the collapse of democracy in sister nation because of its implication to the wider West African region. Thank you.
Yes. But as you were speaking, I believe that the content of the Constitution is embedded in our bosom. The content of our Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended ought to be embedded in our bosom. But some of our colleagues are yet to go through the standing orders. So sometimes I have to bend backwards even when we come through the wrong order. So I believe that they are still learning this one, but the Constitution they all know. So what you are seeing is the reason why when I put that question, I waited and there was no single dissenting voice. That was impressive. So whatever the president has done, the Senate is in total agreement with the president. And then we believe that in any other circumstance, which we don't pray for, he should act likewise. Because already that means he's also protecting the borders of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I join you to also commend Mr. President. But Senator Jimo Ibrahim, PhD war, the president is not